I'm Jessie, and this is Ecobite. I'm Jessie Mahr. I studied environmental policy and water resource engineering in grad school. I then worked for a technology company called Upstream Tech, and now lead the technology program at the Environmental Policy Innovation Center. My whole career primarily has been around wetlands, wetland monitoring, wetland science, wetland ecosystem benefits. And I had a lot of road gaps or like stop gaps throughout that process. And the first I would say is like in grad school, I was really focused on where should we site wetland restoration projects for the maximum benefit? Like, what is the scientifically proven best way to do it if I'm a coastal community, or if I'm inland, or if I'm in a really urban area or rural? And to do that, I needed really good data, and I needed to know where are wetlands, what are the impacts, what is the current land use, and each of those data sets were at least 10 to 15 years out of date. And if we look larger beyond just Massachusetts, where I was working in the US, some of the wetland data sets are like 50 years old. Alaska's not even mapped. And that was a really aha moment for me of like, we don't have good data to inform and scientifically drive where we should be doing some of the most impactful work when it comes to wetland restoration and conservation. My thesis was really focused on where we should site wetland restoration projects and how successful are we in the restoration that we're doing. So as part of that, I did kind of two things. One was a large GIS model on prime locations for wetland restoration based on where wetlands currently are, where there's been impacts, where we need more stormwater management or we need more support for coastal flooding. And the second part of that was doing field work on different restoration projects that had happened in Massachusetts to say, all right, 6 months out, a year out, 3 years out, what are we seeing, and how quickly does wildlife and the benefits of restoration how does it come to fruition? I then, during grad school, was trying to do a bit of field work on wetland science and what can we track in terms of benefits following a restoration project. First, that was thwarted by my fear of snakes. Terrified, was not a field sciences person, but I tried, and we put all these stream gauges throughout because there was a river running through the wetland restoration, and we wanted to know how the stream flow changed. And I had to carry an umbrella with my laptop with a USB cord. Sometimes the like monitors that we put in were just cut and stolen, and sometimes it was like so hard to physically get to the location to try to plug in my laptop and extract the data. This was about 5 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. Maybe everything's changed and things are in the cloud, but our monitoring and sampling plan really depended on where we could easily get to. And I couldn't get that data on a regular basis because it depended on when I could get out to the field and extract the information. And sometimes there's like weird technology errors. I want to say maybe we fixed that, but who knows? But that led me to really think, one, I can't do field work, terrified of snakes. Like there has to be a better way to do this, or a way that can complement the folks that want to be in the field. So after grad school, I landed at a technology company called Upstream Tech that was using satellite imagery to monitor large landscapes. And I was really excited to think about the application for wetlands. We quickly realized, right, satellites might make sense in some scenarios. There's daily imagery, there's weekly imagery, there's biweekly imagery, but also we might need drones because they have much higher quality information. And so I was really thinking about this and educating myself and the stakeholders that might be able to use this on what type of information and technology makes sense for wherever you're at in your restoration project or design, and quickly hit some other barriers, which was folks were scared, like didn't know what it was. And me working at the technology company, they didn't want to listen to my opinion because they're like, you're just trying to sell me something. Um, and there was a real dearth of information within the wetland community and environmental community writ large around when could emerging or established or innovative technologies be useful in the environmental work that I'm doing. And I didn't see that community really anywhere. And then what would happen when we would have these conversations is maybe one district was trying it, one state was doing it, but there wasn't cross sharing and there wasn't consistency in terms of when and how this information could be applied. That also led to sometimes there being regulatory barriers or perceived regulatory barriers, so just shut down the conversation entirely. And at that point, I thought, okay, where could better policy or process or folks on the other side of the room that had a technology background be helpful in making use of innovative tools for environmental decision making. So I landed at Epic, where I now lead our technology team, and that's what we think about all day is just what are the tools, people, processes, regulations, changes that are necessary to complement environmental decision making or complement our use of technology in environmental decision making. Some of the things that I would look forward to in the next couple of years is up-to-date information about where wetlands are. That should be consistently available for all the US. Acoustic monitoring to hear the sights and sounds of restoration. eDNA to track what is there if we can't necessarily see it. And just a publicly available information, much more easy. So we don't have pockets of information that live within one consulting firm or one agency or one company, right? We should be able to have all that information publicly and easily accessible. And we have the technology to do that. That's pretty easy lift. So some are hard, some are easy, but I think within the next 5 years, we'll see a lot of progress on the technology front. I see a lot of value in technology and complementing our restoration work, and hopefully we can figure out how. And that's my confessional.
Continue this conversation with the Ecobite podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts.